Welcome to Hope Academy. My name is Mr. O, and today I'm going to be going over the SAT Math Level 2 Practice Exam 1 from the CrackSAT website. If you want to look at the exam, the link is provided below in the description. But that being stated, I'm going over specifically numbers 37 through 39. Feel free if you need to, watch the prior questions. I do have videos already made on those, so feel free to check those out. But that being stated, I usually do the question quickly, and then I go into depth as to how I was able to solve the question so quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So for number 37. 7 is 2 coins. Dimes. Okay. Okay, so for number 37, my final answer is C, and this is how I was able to get to the answer. So for number 37, the way I understood this question was the fact that there's 3 nickels and 8 dimes. So if there's 3 nickels ends and 8 dimes, total I have 11 coins. That's the important thing I need to keep track. And afterwards, they say, what is the probability that both will be dimes? And so my probability, first time I pull out a dime is 8 out of 11. Because I have currently 8 dimes, but total out of the total number of coins, so 11. But after I take that dime out, I'm going to reach into the bag and try to grab another dime. The fact is that I don't have 8 dimes anymore. Actually, I have 7 dimes total now in the bag. And because I removed that 1 dime, that means I only have total of 10 coins. So I have to subtract 1 on both and then multiply them. Because this is a concept around like the independent sort of idea that the probability of A times the probability of B is sort of independent sort of probabilities that exist. And that's how you're able to solve this question. That's how I got 56 over 110. But the problem is that if you look at the choices, there's no 56 over 110. Thus, I simplified the fraction and found out that my answer for 37 will be C. And that concludes my explanation for number 37. And to continue on to number 38. So I'm going to move this up so you can see it. So it's going to get cut off because it doesn't fit on the screen. But feel free to look at the test itself later on. So 3 functions odd. Okay. Even. Okay. Both odd and even. Okay, so for my final answer, for 38, my answer is C. And now I'm going to explain to you a few things that's really important. So the idea is that whenever I think of an even function, and this is a concept based on like even functions, odd functions, okay? Even slash odd. And I'm going to intentionally write this, even odd. So for function, and I'm going to write that term also, just in case that will help you. Function, okay? And so when I'm doing even functions, for example, the most of the times for me that helps me a lot to remember what an even function looks like is a parabola. Anything that sort of looks like a perfect parabola that cuts through the middle like this will be an even function. Anything that's an odd function, I always think of like an x cubed graph. So a lot of times it'll look something like this. So x squared, x cubed will be an odd function. But for 38, they're not really exactly asking for this specific info. They're actually asking you whether or not the following function, you could find a function that's both odd and even. So I could go through the list. This one is going to be an even function. That's why I took out A. I didn't even consider it. B, right here, is going to be an odd function. That's why I took out B. C is going to be neither, actually. It's a blank equation, so I'm going to continue on. So D is technically going to be an even function, okay? So it's not D. And then E, well, considering the situation right here, it looks more like an origin-based symmetry, or sort of like but the idea is that E is not even and odd, because if I split this off, it's definitely not even by any means. I would most likely call this an odd function, or not even either or even or odd function at all. But that being stated, I think it is more towards odd. But that being stated, C basically, the reason why I chose C is because that means that there is no equation that really exists that could be both even and odd. That's the idea behind this question. It's the idea that no matter what, there is no function in the world that exists that could, coincide both even and odd functions within a 2D dimensional, plane. And thus how I was able to get to my answer for 38. And to continue on to the last question. So for number 39. 39. Okay. Point A, B on the line, circle. Okay. A, B. Radius 5 and measurements B. Okay. A, O, B, so from random points here. 70 degrees. What's the length of the chord? Chord AB. Triangles 180, 110, 55. Okay. 55, and they said this radius is 5 because this is okay. So go ahead and finalize this. Pretty sure I know that. 5 sine 70 divided by sine 55, 5.7, and so okay. So for my answer for number 39, it's going to be D. And now I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get to this answer. So I'm going to get a scratch piece of paper out so that you could see how to do this question. But for number 39, number 39 is a premise around the idea of circles. So you do need to know like the basic idea of circles, but it's not the key thing that's so important about this question. Actually, you also need to know isosceles triangles. And you need to know what the term a chord is. A chord is basically not a non-infinite line, or not a line that goes forever or whatever not, but it's just a line that has two endpoints like this. And so I'm going to draw it a little bit bigger so you can see the idea. So the question states that it's a circle with center O. So I'm going to draw a circle O. And it says that it has 2 points on A and B, and that it creates a 90-degree angle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this. It creates a 70-degree angle, and that the radiuses are 5. Okay, so this radius is 5, this radius is 5. The O is the origin basically, and that's where I'm at. And they want to find the length of this piece right here. So AB right here, this line right here. Okay, and so when I'm doing this type of question right here, automatically I understood that this was going to be an isosceles triangle, because if I have two sides of a triangle that exist, this has to be equal to this length right here. Thus, because this whole thing is 180, I could subtract 180 minus 70, which is 110, and then divide that by 2, 110 divided by 2, which is going to be 55. And know that these two angles right here, this angle right here, and I'm going to do it in pink so you could follow along what I'm talking about. This angle right here is going to be 55, and this angle right here is also going to be 55, okay? And the reason why I need this important information is because now that I have all like multiple angles and two sides, I could use a rule called the law of sine. This is a trigonometric concept, law of sine, okay? And how law of sine works is that it's the idea that if I do sine A over A equals to sine B over B, which equals to sine C over C. So according to the angle, so for example, this A angle right up here, and I'm going to bring it down so you can see, this angle A right here is actually going to correspond with this side because it's right across from each other. And so I use this rule in order to help me solve this question out. And thus, right here, because I know one side right here, this angle right here is 55, as I mentioned before, it corresponds with the side length of 5. It's going to be sine 55 degrees over 5 equals to, now I need to solve out what I need. I don't need this other side, the other 5 and whatever not, because that's just redundant. What I'm trying to do is try to find out what is the side length corresponding to the angle of 70. So it'll be sine 70 degrees over, let's say, x. And this is where x is going to be. And I'm going to actually use a different color so you can follow along. X, this chord right here is x. And so x right here down here, I'm going to solve this out. And thus, what I ended up doing is just, cross multiplying and so on. Just mental mathed it a bit so that I could save some time. I'm going to show it right here, just so that you can follow along. Sine 55, and thus x equals to 5 sine 70 over sine 55. And I'm actually going to rewrite that here so you could see it better. So x equals to 5 sine 70 over sine 55. Okay, and I'm ignoring this part right here. Okay, so now that I have this value right here in 5 sine 70 over sine 55, I need to check on my calculator that it is in degree form. If your calculator is in radian or polar form, it will not give you the answer you want. And then, so thus, I was able to input it once in degree form, and I found out it would be 5.7. And if you look right here, number 39, 5.7 is D, and thus how I got the answer for number 39. And that concludes my explanation for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter so that we could continue to make content like this. Please also do feel free to leave comments below if you have other things you want me to cover, and I'll look into it to see if myself or other potential teachers could cover new concepts. Thank you so much for watching once again. I hope you have a wonderful day.